My nephew, Kevin Pinkney, I used to come up here and get haircuts. We'd be in the barber shop, and he used to always tell me, he said, man, you need to tell your story, huh? You know, he said, man, you got a hell of a story to tell. He said, you need to tell your story. And I said, you ain't finna take my money. My mind already made up by that when I got in the game. Because I knew when I got in the game, like I told you before, when you get in the game, you can't be scary. Can't be no punk. Can't be scared to shoot your gun. You can't be scared to do whatever it takes to protect your product and your territory. See, when I was robbed, I wasn't robbing nobody because I thought I had a drug habit. So I robbing money. Yeah, but I wasn't getting offended about it. You just wasn't going to take my money. If you let me take yours, that's on you. You wasn't going to take mine.
And that's the bottom line.
And that's the end of the story. That's the way it is.
The best in the world, Craig.
I'm the best in the world. Now, when I got out this time, guys, everybody they just knew I was going to get back in the game. They just knew I was going to get back in the game. They would tell me, oh, boy, we finna have some stuff, real stuff. Y'all can put that other stuff up now. Cisro back now. I said, boy, you better think again.
Sleep.
And when she woke up and put her rat back to sleep, hit me. Soon as you get up, put your rat back to sleep.
SKREET Life.
SKREET Life.
Let's talk about communication. Let's talk about the love. Let's talk about communication. Oh, let's talk about the love. Let's talk about communication. Let's talk about the love. Let's talk about communication.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is your host, William Robinson of TLC Talk Love and Communication, ladies and gentlemen. Today we have a special guest, the one and only reoccurring guest on Talk Love Communication, ladies and gentlemen. The living legend, one of the finest, the self-proclaimed greatest in the world, Albert Cisro Hampton, ladies and gentlemen. And without further ado, we're going to give this young man a special round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. So how's it going there, Mr. Cisro?
Going great, man. Going great. Life is good.
Life is good. So for those who may not know who you are, just by happenstance, tell my audience a little bit about yourself.
Well, I was born in Belgrade, Florida, 1953, December 26th. Stayed there a short time, about a year, before my family decided to move to Fort Lauderdale, Florida. After we moved there, I entered the school system in 1959. And from there, I was always good in school. I was always the bright student. Left Dillard Elementary, moved on to junior high school. They have middle school now, but it was junior high back then. And then I went on to Dillard High School. And after I got to Dillard High School, that's where my life took a turn toward the streets. I started hanging on the 27th Avenue, a popular boulevard in Fort Lauderdale, in the community of Fort Lauderdale, where all the hustlers and all the pimps and all the drug dealers hung out at. And I started frequenting up there, going to the store. We used to go to the store up there, and I would always peep in the pool room up there. And I looked in there one day, and I was smitten by what was going on in there. The guys in there playing pool and loud music, and I just was smitten by it, and I wanted to go in there and play pool. And I eventually got a chance to go in by talking to the guy working in that chocolate. And he told me that I couldn't come in because I was too young, so he gave me a job racking the balls, and that's where I started. And my life started in the streets.
And being in the streets in Fort Lauderdale, this back in the 70s. Times was different. It was a lot of black-owned businesses and things of that nature. So, how was that an impact at your life growing up when you looked through that window and you saw the hustlers and the pimps and things of that nature? Did you kind of take on that?
Yeah, I did. And that was in the late 60s, 1967. Mm-hmm. And as you say, we had some black-owned businesses then, because basically the whole 27th Avenue was black-owned businesses, restaurants, fish markets, and things of that nature. And I just took a liking to it, and my life, it started being shaped. My life started being shaped by the things that I saw in the streets and in that pool room.
We're here today. You wrote a book. You just recently wrote a book that should be coming out soon. So tell us the name of this book, and how does this story come about? What inspires you to write a book at this age, sir?
Well, actually, my nephew, Kevin Pinkney, I used to come up here and get haircuts. We'd be in the barber shop, and he used to always tell me, he said, man, you need to tell your story, huh? He said, man, you got a hell of a story to tell. He said, you need to tell your story. And I used to listen to him, and we talked about it because he's into podcasts, watching a lot of podcasts and interviews and shows and stuff. And he shared some of them with me, and he kept telling me about it. So I said, well, maybe I'll think about doing that. And one day I came and I told him, I said, man, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna get on he said, you need to do a podcast. He said, I got a friend was talking about yourself with a podcast. He said, get on there and do an interview, and you can get your name out there like that. And I said, okay. And I did. We did the interview, and everything went well. And then the book came about. He was telling me about, you need to put it in writing and get your story out there. And I met my writer. I knew a writer, a young guy that ended up writing my book. I knew his family. I was just like a family member. And we got together and put the book together. And we was talking about street life. That's what I would want to name my book, because I was talking about my life in the streets. And we put the book together, talking about my younger years, my former years, my young years in school and leaving home early. I moved from my home at 16 years old. And my mother was very upset about that, but I was determined to be in the streets. That's what I wanted to do. And I've always been a person, when I make my mind do something, I do it, And that's how it came about.
Do you have any regrets looking back? Would you do anything different?
Not a thing. Not a thing. I always was the type of person, I got a friend now, he's incarcerated now. And he told me one day, he said, man, I wish we'd have went to the port. We should have been working out to the Port Everglades. I said, no, you should have been working out there. I was doing what I wanted to do. I don't wish I did nothing different. I don't think like that. Because every time I do something, I always been a leader. I never followed nobody. So when I make my mind to do something, I do it. And I don't have no regrets about it. Even going to prison 5 times, I ain't changing nothing. Because I learned something every time I went.
So, street life. So you agree that street life sent you to prison 5 times, but you feel like, a lot of times that's what's wrong with the world today. Like, people can't live with the consequences to their own actions. You know what I'm saying? So
that's correct.
And I mean, and that's something that's very rare today. Nobody want to be held accountable for their own actions.
That's right. But see, people, I don't brag about going to prison 5 times. It ain't nothing to brag about, but it happened. It's the truth.
Yeah.
But what I did, every time I went to prisons, I always studied, always educated myself, always tried to make myself better and not make the same mistake. But I kept going because I kept coming back to the game. That's why I kept going to prison.
What's some of the number 1 rules in the street life?
Mind your own business. Stay in your lane. Can't be scary. And because you got to always protect your turf. That's why I say the streets will shape you or they'll destroy you. See, you can't come in the streets scary, expecting to make money and don't have no heart. The streets ain't built for everybody. The game ain't for everybody.
Do you think pride take a big place, responsibility? Because I remember, like, even times being in prison, you have to make a split decision very fast. Someone say something the wrong way, or somebody, you come out in the dorm from on the rec yard, somebody went in your locker, you got to make a split decision because everybody's watching. If you let that man go in your locker and take your stuff and you know who did it and you do nothing, they're going to go in your locker every day.
Same principle in the street. Guy robbed you and you let it fly, you let it walk by, you don't do nothing about it. Now you become a target. Everybody see you gonna rob because you soft. They walk right up to you and rob without the pistol.
Yeah.
What you got in your pocket, boy? Pat you down like they the police. Take your money. That's what's gonna happen. See, that's my point.
So in a situation like that, you know, a lot of times you faced with do or don't. You understand the consequences. Okay, I can lose my game time. I might back my years up. I might even wind up killing this man. You understand what I'm saying?
Or get killed.
Or get killed. So how important is pride? Should you let pride go or should you,
Well, sometimes you got to swallow your pride. See? Sometimes you got to swallow your pride. But again, the only difference in that, in prison, you pretty much got to think and swallow your pride because, like I said, you trying to get out. You're trying to go home. In the streets, you already out.
You ain't trying to go.
It's a difference.
Yeah, I might get away on the street.
See, on the streets, that's right. That's right. I might get away. But on the streets, you don't have that, it's a little different in the street because now in the streets, I'm out here where everybody at. We out here making money. We out here in the free world. So it's a different scenario in prison. The principle is pretty much the same, but the methodology is different.
You know, on the streets, you got to look at it as though, hey, man, I'm out here making $20,000 a week. I'm going to let this dude take this from me. Or I could just, what I mean by, if I smash him by giving what he deserved, I get locked up, I lose these $20,000 a week. I'm taking care of so many X, Y, and Z many people. In the chain gang, you already in prison. What you going to do? Go to jail for a little while? Go to the box? But your name is established. You know what I mean? Sometime on the street, they leave you no choice. You know what I mean? Because when a man pulls a gun on you, technically I'm dead right then if he pulled the trigger. If he let me live, that's his fault.
That's right.
You know, so I'm going to show him what he supposed to have did. You understand what I'm saying?
Good point. Because that's what I was alluding to. In prison, you have to use judgment in there and you're going to have to swallow your pride sometimes because, see, you trying to get out to the streets. You already in the streets, you ain't going to take that. See, you ain't finna take my money. My mind already made up by that when I got in the game. Because I knew when I got in the game, like I told you before, when you get in the game, you can't be scary. Can't be no punk. Can't be scared to shoot your gun. You can't be scared to do whatever it takes to protect your product and your territory.
Do you remember the first time you had to make one of those decisions?
Yeah.
You care to elaborate?
Yeah, I was young. And a guy came up and the guy I was with, he had a heroin package. He was selling heroin. I was with him. I didn't have no heroin, but I was sitting there with him. Guy came up to rob us. And the guy didn't rob me, though. He robbed my friend because he had the package. So he didn't do nothing to me. That was the first time I was involved in a robbery. Now, see, I could have went back and did something, but I didn't get robbed.
Right.
So I didn't have to defend nothing. But when the guy came and robbed me, then I got to take care of that.
Right.
So I got to take care of that. You ain't going to take my money. You ain't going to take my money. Because I can't let that get back to the streets. I can't let that get back out there that I was soft and let Pete come and take my money.
Right.
Because now Joe want to take it now. Craig want to take it. You see what I'm saying? Everybody see me want to take my money now because I'm soft.
You know, it's so many times, go ahead. It's so many times that, you know, we face with these situations. These are split decisions.
Right.
These are split decisions because it's kill or be killed. You know, big dog take little dog. Big bank take little bank. It's and you know, and so many times you have to be a thinker in this situation. I've always been a thinker, understanding that, okay, even though this man robbed me, I get handle business right now. the chances of me, it's a different story. But, I want to get away with it. I was always the thinker. I never done drugs or alcohol because I want to get away. You understand what I'm saying? So you have to be smart when you're making these decisions, correct?
Right. But, the streets will shape you differently when you're in the streets every day. That's your life. See, that was my life. My life was in the streets. So when you come up there to my taking mine, boy, when I see you again, if you get to drop on me today, when I see you again, it's a bad story for you.
I just done an interview with a man, and he asked me a question about 3 weeks ago, and every day I think about that question. He asked me, he was referring to Big Pete, my former self, the person that sent me to prison. And he say, where did the anger come from? And that's a hell of a question. You know what I'm saying? Where did it come from? And to me, I've always been a good person, but it's like, I could just make a conscious decision and say, you know what? Cisro keep asking for it. The next time, I'm going to go ahead and give it to him. You understand what I'm saying? So it's almost like I'm not even angry. I just made a conscious decision that I'm going to get him. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
And it's like, once that decision is made, I turn into a robot. Kind of like you said, once you go on the street life, you say, if this happened to me, I'm going to do that. And that's the bottom line, right?
See, every time I told you about blood is on that money. A lot of people that goes past them. They don't really understand what that means. See, when you come in the streets out there, that money you get out there, that money got blood on it.
Mm-hmm.
And like you said, it's do or die when you get in the game. That have to be your mentality. So you have to have a certain mentality to be in the game, to be successful in the game, to stay in the game.
When you was in the street life, have you ever robbed someone?
I used to be a stick-up boy.
Okay, so how can you rob someone and then when they rob you, you look at it the other way?
Well, when I was out there doing what I was doing, when I was out there robbing, I knew what the circumstances were. I knew what the consequences were. I knew guys could run down on me.
See,
but I was a heroin addict.
See, I'm a firm believer. Like, see me, I wouldn't judge you if I'm doing the same thing. You understand what I'm saying? If I'm a person that'll rob a person, to me, that's like, I mean, who are you to think you know what I'm saying? You deserve what you gonna get. You deserve every bit of it. You know what I mean? Just like they had a kid. I was looking at a thing on Facebook where the lady's son trying to break in this man's house. They breaking in his house to go in there and rob him or whatever. He shoots and kill a boy. So the lady come fussing at the man and say, he was only going to rob you. You ain't have to shoot him and kill him. What you mean he only was going to rob me? Her son in death, she not holding him accountable. So he get the right to go rob this man, but this man don't have a right to defend himself. That lady crazy.
Yeah, she crazy. But see, like you said, now, when I was out there doing that, I already knew a guy, listen, I robbed a guy. Me and another guy, the guy who was with me, he passed now. He gone, he passed. This guy caught me in a restaurant one morning. He walked in on me in a restaurant. I was sitting there eating breakfast, talking to another guy. Mm-hmm. He's deceased too, Pop. I was talking to Pop Ross. He was a gangster guy. The guy walked in, I see him, but I can't go nowhere because I'm sitting down. He walked right to the table and pulled his gun out at the table, right? He knew Pop. So Pop said, what's up, man? He said, man, nothing. He said, the joke hand just robbed me. Got his gun out on me, right?
Yeah.
So I said, hold up, man. I said, let me pay for my meal. So I got up, I went to the counter. I already done made my move. So when I was paying the lady, I walked behind the counter and went out the back door. I left him sitting at the table.
But see, he didn't want to shoot you because he would have shot you.
That's right.
See what I'm saying? If he see if he really wanted to shoot you, Pop, and nobody else.
See, if that'd have been me when I walked in the door, a joker had robbed me, I'd have walked in there shooting. See? But I'm saying, I'm being honest. When you're in the game, you can't be scary.
You know, I had a partner that the old saying is, he'll steal your stuff And then if you steal it back, he gunning at you like you took his stuff. You understand what I'm saying?
But see, you said something earlier about when you're in the game. If you let that happen, that's on you.
Yeah, I know a guy. I got a lot of respect for him, man. He had an older family member in the game that everybody respect, and so the guy went to the feds. So he told everybody, hey, don't give him nothing. Don't give him a little cuz or nothing. So nobody around here would give him anything. And I watched this man drive all the way to Miami to get 1 ounce. Come back, cook it, do what he got to do, go back, get 2. I mean, all the way backwards and forward. No license. Taking a chance till he got all the way up, he got a hold. You understand what I'm saying? But he's not a street person. See, and that's what the bigger cousin knew. He ain't built for this. And Joker's like, do just like you say, walk right up to him, catch him slipping. You know, he like the girls, sick a girl on him, just go in his pocket, take whatever he got. You know what I'm saying? Run up on him, might not even have a gun sometimes. Get up, you know what I'm saying? He ain't no fighter. And he'll get up. You know what I'm saying? But he looked at it as, man, this little bit of money they're taking ain't nothing, man. I'm powering up. You understand what I'm saying? And that's the way he looked at it.
Right.
I wouldn't have never stood for that. Boy, it would have been smoking the city. You understand what I'm saying? But that was his outlook, and he eventually moved away, went into the business. You know, got legit, and was very successful. You know, but I wouldn't have never lived with that.
See, that's what I'm telling you now, Pete. Everybody not built for this. Everybody just ain't built for it. You just ain't built for that. Guys sit back and look. Some guys sit back and look and say, man, I can do that now. I can get me a pack and sell and make money. And you can. You can get your pack and get started in the game.
But when them consequences come.
But see, you got dudes gonna sit around and watch you all day. They're gonna know your every move. They're gonna know you soft or not. And they're gonna try you.
Especially people that already know you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
If you was a coward in middle school, elementary school, high school, now you think you're supposed to be whatever?
You gonna get a package and come out here in the streets and make money and keep it? I
want to get back to, I just think that if let's say I'm a rapist. If I'm a rapist, I'm out here raping people, and then you rape somebody close to me, how can I judge you? How can I be mad at you? We on the same team. And I just think that a person that robs someone, I was talking to a guy, he was telling me that somebody he know was killed. Okay, so he kind of think about the person that killed him, but he watched the person that got killed kill somebody else years earlier.
Right.
So you don't think the man he killed had a family? You understand what I'm saying? Everybody got a family. Yeah. So it's, I just look at it as, you can't, that's like, even when we think about racist people, we think about former days and we think about them racists, them a hang us or whatever, the Klanmen. Okay, but if you feel the same way about them as they feel about you, you're the same thing.
That's right.
You understand what I'm saying?
See, because black people, they racist too.
I personally think black people are more racist than white people.
Yeah.
You know, we'll sit around and use the C word and call them everything under the book, and it's okay. But
if they say the N word,
it's the end of the world.
Yeah.
When we say it to each other all day.
And that's, really, it's just the human experience. It's just, people do that. See, when I was robbed, I wasn't robbing nobody because I thought I had a drug habit. So I robbing money.
But the point is, anytime you pull a gun on a man, the consequences could be death.
That's right. That's right.
So how could you get so offended when it come back? You know what goes around comes around.
Yeah, but I wasn't getting offended about it. You just wasn't going to take my money. If you let me take yours, that's on you. You wasn't going to take mine.
And that's the bottom line.
And that's the end of the story. That's the way it is.
The best in the world, Craig.
I'm the best in the world. So if you let me rob you, that's on you.
That's on you. But you ain't gonna rob me.
You ain't gonna rob me.
So let's say
I ain't gonna say you ain't gonna rob me. You ain't gonna get away with it.
it's a situation here in Ocala, right?
See, the reason why you don't get away with it, cause it's the game. I can't let you get away with it. I can't let you get away with it. When I was out there robbing, yeah, I know that was wrong, but they would let me get away with it.
Did you pick and choose?
I'm robbing money.
You know, when you
I was shooting heroin, man. When I get sick and need money, I'm going to get me some money.
You know, I believe that robbers know who to rob and who not to rob. See, some people you can rob, like the guy was talking about, you know he gonna give it up. No consequences. But you know, some people, if you rob that man, you gonna have to kill him. If you ain't willing to kill him, you better not go rob him.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying?
Right. But in a lot of cases, I done robbed people I ain't never seen before.
So, it's a situation right here in Ocala where, I ain't gonna say their names. This guy here, real popular, you know what I mean? I went to school with him. He was doing this one too. Somebody broke in his house and robbed his stuff. Took his stuff, right? So he found out who did it. He retaliated. Now the person who robbed him, you know he robbed this man, but yet he put the police on him, right?
Uh-huh.
He put the police in him. So this street life, we supposed to keep this 100. We keep this amongst ourselves. You don't put the people in the street life, right?
That's right.
So while he's fighting the charges, the one who robbed him get a petty driving charge, little sales charge or whatever. So the state tells him, hey, we'll drop that against you if you testify against him. Now this man don't paid him for the hush-hush. You know you went in my house. You know you went in my house. I handled you, but I'm going to still go ahead and pay you not to come to court. Man, he went to court against that man. That man got a life sentence, man. I'm sorry, they gave him 30 years. You understand what I'm saying? Now, that's to me, that's you know, we got street rules. You got, let's say you coming home from prison. Tell me what you do in this situation. You coming home from prison. I say, hey, Cisro, man, run me over here to the Big Apple. Run me up here to the Big Midget. And you say, hey, man, you ain't got nothing on you, nothing, dude. I'm known to sell drugs and tote guns. Now, oh, man, we straight, man. I'm good. You know I wouldn't do you like that, bro. You just came home. You got a woman over there waiting for you in prison a couple years. You know what I'm saying? You know, you situated. You don't done too many years. You ready to come home and settle down. Police pull us over. I take the stuff, I stash it under the seat. Police got us in the back there. Police finding stuff. Ask us who's on the nails. I say it ain't mine. You say it ain't yours. What you do?
It ain't mine?
Yeah.
You going to jail. You going to jail.
You gonna tell the people it's mine?
Just as fast as they can ask me. You didn't tell him you can't be 21, I'm gonna be 21 for you. How about that? You think I'm going to jail for you?
What about the street life?
That's street life.
What's the street life rule?
I ain't going to jail for you. Don't even come in with that. I ain't going to jail for nobody. Because I asked you before you got in there, did you have anything in there on you? You said no. Then it'll come to find you got it. Be 21, I won't have to tell on you. But if you're going to be 12, then I'm going to be 21. You going to jail. You asked me this before.
Straight up.
You going to jail.
I asked you this before.
Yeah, and you going to jail. Same answer.
The best in the world.
Best in the world. And you going right to jail.
Have you ever cheated a man on the pool table?
I ain't have to. Cheating? For what? I ain't got to cheat him. I'm going to beat him. I ain't got to cheat him. I'm the best in the world. What I got to cheat him
So
for?
ain't nobody in Ocala, Florida can beat you playing pool.
Man, you ain't going to find nobody going to play me. Somebody beat me. Quit doing that, man. You ain't going to find nobody going to play me, let alone beat me. Ain't nobody going to beat me.
So you still got it.
I'm the best in the world. How many times I got to tell you that, man? You don't understand that?
I'm going to find
I'm the
somebody.
best in the world.
The next time you
How
come
old you
Ocala,
is?
I'm 51.
You'll be 95. You find somebody want to play me, let alone beat me. You'll be searching around there 45 more years, man, till I beat me. Somebody hear my name, they'll run up from under you talking about beat me. playing pool.
You know, a lot of people, you don't say it on an early episode, but a lot of people don't even know how you got the name Cisro. Tell us who was the famous Cisro.
Well, it was a pool player in New York City, Cisro Murphy, black pool player. And see, I used to study pool. I studied players. I studied tournaments. I used to go to pool tournaments when I was coming up to the adult tournaments. And I started reading about pool players, and I read about this. I came across Cisro Murphy, black pool player. And as I told you before, back in the day, didn't many black players take up that game of pool. I mean, they played pool, but not on the big stage. Because we already had pool rooms in the slums and in the communities. Always had pool rooms. That was a part of the community. That was a part of the culture. But we didn't have black players on the big stage playing in the U.S. Open, the World Championship. There wasn't nothing but whites and Latinos and Chinese people, you know, Philippines, playing in those tournaments. So this black guy, Cisro Murphy, he won those prestigious tournaments a couple of times. And I started following him. And I would always talk about him in the pool room. And Chocolate would always listen to me talking about Cisro. He said, "What you know about that?" But Chocolate knew about him too. And Chocolate one day told me, he said, "I'm going to call you Cisro." Because I used to always be talking about him. And it just stuck.
You know, when we get back to this book, you know, how does it start? How early in your life do you go back when you're in this book here? In the book SKREET Life?
I go back all the way when it started, 1967. That's when I came into the
So
streets.
in the book, you go back to looking through the window in the pool hall.
I go back looking at the window.
And you share your story of each incarceration all the way up until now. You know, as you were writing this book, sometimes me, myself, when I talk about my past self, it's almost like I'm talking about a different person. You understand what I'm saying? When I share things or thought patterns or my mind frame, it's almost like a different person. You know what I mean? You know, did you, as you was writing your story, was there situations where you look back and, you know, now as we get older, we have a lot of empathy in our heart. We look back and say, man, you know, that's what it was. You know, I'm not proud of it, but God darn, man, that was kind of rough. You know what I mean?
It's moments like that, and it's all in the book, detail in the book. And sometimes you do talk in the third person when you're talking about yourself. Again, that's a human experience, human nature. But for the most part, I've always been what you see, what you get with me. You know, I wear my emotion on my sleeve. I'm a straightforward person. You know, I'm blunt. I ain't,
Fastest way to the touchdown is straight ahead.
Yeah, I don't like I ain't never been a person to sugarcoat. People always say, "Man, you blunt, man." But I am.
And see,
I don't apologize for that though.
And it's almost like
that's me.
They don't understand it. It's like you're an alien, and they think you're wrong. Well, you ain't have to say it like that. It ain't number one way to say it. I mean, it's only one way to say it. It's only one way where you could have used another word. Ain't no other word.
Hey man, it is what it is. With me, when I do something, I do it because I want to do it. I don't do nothing against my will. I don't do nothing against my will. Mm-hmm. I don't believe in sugarcoating nothing. Somebody ask me something, I'm gonna give them the most honest answer I can.
Yep.
I ain't gonna sugarcoat being around the bush. People, I hate when I be asking somebody something, they got to tell me a million things. It's a yes or no question. I'm looking for yes or no. I ain't looking for all this help.
The bottom line, you ain't got.
Yeah, you ain't got to go through that with me, and I don't go through that. If you ask me something right now, I'm gonna give you a yes or no. I ain't gonna do all that stuff because that's unnecessary to me.
Well, who won't win the game tonight?
Out of who?
Florida State and the Gators.
The Gators. Now, who gonna win the game tonight? Gators.
You saying that like you believe that?
I've been a Gator 65 years. What else I supposed to believe?
Yeah, because you believe it, ain't gonna make it come happen.
That's what gonna happen.
If you was playing Georgia tonight, you wouldn't tell me the Gators were gonna win.
Gators. I like the Gators when they playing golf.
So you one of them.
I like the Gators when they playing polo.
So you one of them.
I like the Gators when they hula hoop. When they play hula hoop, I like the Gators.
You ain't gonna. You might like them, but you ain't gonna go in that pocket by them.
I love the Gators.
You ain't going in our pocket about no Gators in no.
I might not go in my pocket, but I'm pulling with the Gators every time they play. I'm Gator, die hard. Fishing Gators.
Lately we what you think it's gonna take for a high school in Marion County to win a championship?
I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't even know. But they tell me it's the coaches. But I haven't seen a high school game up here in so long, man. I keep up with it through my nephew, but I ain't been to a game, man. But I don't know.
You know, Don Nellen beat Palaca last night.
Oh, yeah?
14-13, I believe it was.
Playoffs?
Playoffs.
Oh, they still in that?
Don Nellen playing in the championship next week against a team from Miami.
Oh.
You know what I'm saying? It's not the state. They got like they don't start at a new bracket for teams, but it's a tournament. Nevertheless, it's a playoff. They don't want all 3 games, all 4 games, and they play for a championship next week. You know what I'm saying? So big shout out to Donella, man. You know,
Donella might win that though, because Donella keep a good football team.
Yeah, Donella. When I seen Donella play their first game, I said, "Boy, Donella can win this thing." You know what I mean? Donella was a good team, but Donellen's schedule was so hard, and Donella was young. So you know, a lot of times you got a lot of sophomores on the team or whatever. You know what I mean?
But that's what make you a good team in playoff time, when you play good quality teams during the season. When you play them cupcakes during the season, you really don't know how good you are. And
that's the problem with someone else in the county. They play the cupcake schedule kind of, and then when you get in the playoffs, you get beat because you don't know how to face adversity.
That happened to Dillard down there. We was 10-0. First round playoff, we got beat the first game in the playoff, and we was at home. Bad coaching with most of it. We up 14-13. We got the ball on the 2-yard line. 2 yards from pay dirt. He throw an out pass, dude stepped in front of running back 98 yards that went for 2 and went up 7, 21-14. And that's how the game ended.
A pass to the outside.
And we 2 yards from pay dirt.
2 yards. And they want to run it, and they in the shotgun. They won't get on the center no more to save their life.
I don't know what these coaches doing. Poor coaching, man. Bad coaching. That's what that is.
You know, so tell my audience the most intriguing part about this book. What part, even when you went to recollect and reminisce throughout your life, what part of the book had you lingering the most? And when you thought about it, you know, this, you know what I mean, it's kind of weighed on your mind a little more than others.
Probably the home invasion part. That was definitely one of the things. My last time in prison, my federal time, because all the other times I was in prison, little bits and pieces, 23 months, 20 months, 3 years, some months. Never a lot of time, never 5 years. But when I went to federal prison, that's when my life really, I was at a crossroad then, if you know what I mean. I was 53 when I went in. My mother was really doing the best. You know, she was on the downside, you know. My father had already passed. And I you know, looking back at retrospect, you start, like you said earlier, you look back sometimes and say, man, you know, some of the things. And I said, man, I hope I just pray I make it out of there. But in them 11 years I was in the Fed, I really started looking at life differently. You know, my kids were getting older. They was getting adolescent. You know, my kids finna get in high school. They was in high school and stuff. And I knew I wasn't gonna be out there graduation. Things like that used to weigh on me. Yeah. You know, I didn't see my kids graduate from high school. But I thank God that they finished anyway. They still went on and finished. And I was proud of that. But I wanted to be there for those times. I wanted to be there. You know what I mean? My mother passed 10 months before I got out. I went through a lot that last time. So that was, I could say that, and the home invasion when, you know, the guys came in there and had them guns on my children, because that really did something to me there. You know, them shooting me, that wasn't nothing. But putting them guns in my children's face, that bothered me. And so when I got out, I made up my mind. Then I met Christ, you know. and that really had a bearing on my life, changing my life, getting away from the streets. Because in my book, that's what I want my story to tell young people, to explain to young people. Don't take that road. Go to school, get educated, get you a job, get you a business, earn you some money. Because street life ain't where it's at. You know, I live that life. I reveled in it. You know what I mean? I don't regret it because that's what I did, what I wanted to do.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't want my kids to be in that. I don't want young people to go that route because you're not gonna win with that.
Yeah.
It's not a winning formula. So that's why I wrote the book. I want people to, my readers and viewers, especially young people, to understand. Don't get it, and see, it ain't for everybody anyway.
You know, how did you find out your mother passed? Who came and told you?
Well, my mother came to my son. You know, my oldest son is paraplegic. He got shot. He got robbed. He got shot. And my mother came to see him when he got shot, November 2015. And she came to see me right after he got shot. She came to see him, and then she came to visit me before she went back home. That was in November 2015. 2016, January, I was awarded the halfway house program 1 year. So I called my mom. I told her, she was all excited. But she also told me, I said, Mom, I got 1 more year. I said, I'm going to halfway house. I got a year halfway house. She said, well, I'm glad, baby. She said, I'm just trying to hold on. And I never forget what she said. That just cut me because I know she wasn't doing good. She was in a wheelchair. She wasn't. And 2 months later, she passed away. 2 months after I told her I was coming home. And that just, and I had promised her, and I still hold to that promise. I promised her I wasn't going to sell no more drugs. That life was over with. Street life was over with for me. And she was happy about that. You know, I had gave my life to Christ. And I lost her 2 months after I told her I was coming home, man. That just really, that was devastating. You know, that's the hardest pill I ever had to swallow. I'm still swallowing that pill. You know, I lost my mother in there. And but I still hold on to that promise.
You know, one of my hardest days in prison was, you know, my grandfather passed away in there. And it's like, I go see his wife a lot. You know what I'm saying? His wife is not my biological grandmother.
Right.
But I don't know him without her. And I remember telling him, you know, Granddad, I'm going to honor that. You know what I'm saying? So, and it's like the regrets. When you're in prison like that, it's the regrets of the time you missed with mama. You know what I'm saying? You know, think about the Mother's Days and stuff where it's like, well, such as, don't you got another son? You know, and they got this playing over here in prison or whatever. You know, just like you say, the fight. You know what I'm saying? To see her baby. You understand what I'm saying? And I think about my granddad and like the memories that was missed. You know what I'm saying? The times that he got an old shed back there. He used to call it his office. We'll go in there and I sit in the chair. He thought he knew why the moon was shining at night. You know, he knew everything. You know what I mean? And it's just, you know, he used to take my son back there. He used to tell my son, yeah, your daddy used to sit in that chair there. And, you know, because when I went to prison, my son was a baby. So, you know, it's just always, he heard stories of me. He came to see me a lot, but, you know, and it's just, you know, it's just you can't get it back.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You can't get it back. And that's the regret. Most times when people make life-changing decisions, it's for a purpose greater than themselves. Like, you kept going back to prison because it's just Cisro. You looked at it as though, man, I'm the one doing the time. You ain't doing no time. But when you realize that I'm hurting mama.
It affected a lot of people. it hurt a lot of people. It affected a lot of people.
Yeah.
You know, my ex-wife even told me one time, she said, that hurt us when you leave me out here with the kids and you gone and you ain't have to do that.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? I often thought about that. And it was true. It was a true statement. You know, you can't deny the truth. When I was in there, man, and that last coming down that stretch, man, my mama passed, and I knew I was finna get back out. And then when I got out, man, me and my wife we had already went through the divorce. But my kids, they never abandoned me. The whole time I was in there, my kids come through that door every month to see me. They gonna come and see me. I ain't got to try to persuade them. That's one of the joys I had in my script. That my kids was always there for me, always there for me, and that meant a lot. That meant the world to me, and still do. You know, I was here last night. I stayed with my daughter. When I come here, you know, I was in the shower this morning, and I said, "Wow." I said, "Look at me. I'm in here in my baby's house. I'm in her house now.
Yeah.
Staying at her house. Ain't that something?"
Yeah.
You know, life is something. And I remember she was a little old baby. Now I'm staying in her house.
Grown woman.
She got kids, my grandkids, and I'm staying in her house. You know, it's different, man. It's amazing. It's really amazing, man. It is really amazing. But, you know, when I look at it now at the end, you know, I left the game. And, you know, I tell guys now, when I got out this time, guys, everybody they just knew I was going to get back in the game. They just knew I was going to get back in there. They would tell me, "Oh, boy, we finna have some stuff, real stuff. Y'all can put that other stuff up now. Cisro back now." I said, "Boy, you better think again. That life there over with for me." The streets don't owe me nothing. The streets owe me nothing. Because when I was in the game, I was true to the game. The game was good to me because I was true to the game. But I don't want to promote the game.
Right.
Because that life is a dead end. I've never, since I've been living, I'm 71 years old, I'll be 72 next month, if God's willing. I never heard a good ending story for a drug dealer. Never hear a good ending story. If you stay in that game, it ain't gonna end good. It ain't gonna end good.
Chain gang of the graveyard.
It ain't gonna end good, man. Chain gang of the graveyard. It ain't gonna end good. That's why I gave it up, because I saw a long time ago, when I got into this last time, it's just a revolving door. You're not gonna win. It ain't designed for you to win. And I had to learn that. I learned that the hard way. It ain't designed for you to win.
You know, you mentioned earlier that, you know, you met Christ.
Right.
So walk me through the first time, because it's a process.
Right.
It doesn't happen overnight.
That's
Walk me
right.
through the first time where you had met Christ, you got strong enough in the faith, and you was faced with a situation where you could be street life or you could take on Jesus. Walk me through that first time.
I was in there, and you know, I had got to the point where, I think I told you that before, I got to the point where I could learn how to, I had mastered, when I get into an argument with a guy, I could tell him, "Man, you're right." When I learned to master that, and I still do it. I practice that because it helps me with my temperament. I know me. So I had to learn how to do that. But this particular morning, I was in the microwave room. I had a cup of coffee in there. My mother had just passed, probably a week or so ago. And a guy came in there. I wasn't to the microwave. I put my coffee in there. I went to the door, just standing in the door, pondering, thinking about my mom. And he walked back there. He ain't asked who coffee this or nothing. He just opened the microwave up. You know, when the microwave running, you open up, it automatically cuts off.
Yeah.
He take my coffee out, and I turned around. I said, "Hey, man, what you doing?" You was through. I said, "I ain't through."
If it's running, it ain't done yet.
He told me, it wasn't nothing. I said, "Automatically gonna go out, man. You open it up. When you open up, it gonna stop." He get, "Oh, yeah." I said, hold up, man. I said, put my cover. I said, man, I said, man, I ain't finna. Hell no. I said, man, look, I just lost my mama. I said, I ain't finna argue with you about it. But don't take it out on me. That's it.
Yeah.
And it made me mad. Cause you bargain the wrong tree out of. I said, you ain't gonna do nothing. And I turned around and walked back up on it. See, I was mad then. See, I was mad. And I was finna hurt him.
And he don't even know it.
No, he don't know.
He want to do.
He's still talking.
Running his mouth.
He's still running his mouth. See, I'm already looking at where I'm gonna hit him at. PowerPoint where I'm gonna hit him at. Cause I'm finna go right up there and push his nose up in his head. Had me so mad in there. So the dudes out there here, they hear the commotion, they hear the argument going on in there. And everybody that know me, I've been in there a while, so they recognize my voice. He just had got there. He from Georgia. Big old silly dude. And so the dudes come in, what's up, Ro? And Mr. Al, everybody coming out now. And he said, man, I said, nothing, man. I said, oh, silly nigga. I said, nothing, man. I got my coffee coming. So my buddy from next door, now he done got over there already next door. That's how dudes travel in prison. You know how I travel. My buddy Bobby, he done got it. Now he come over there. He said, man, where that nigga at, man? I said, man, go on back over there. I said, he ain't gonna do nothing, man. I had to calm down there. I had to went and thought, you know what I mean? I went down there and gathered myself and thought. So I told Bobby to go on back on there. He ain't gonna do nothing. Now he come back and apologize later on, talking about, man, both of us were wrong. I said, no, you don't. I don't come back here with that. I said, you were wrong. I said, I was already in there. You came in and took my comment. I said, don't come in with about I'm wrong. I said, don't even come in and apologize. That's what you come in and do. Don't do that. I don't want to hear that.
Because he's still trying to say
he's still trying to justify what he did.
He's trying to apologize, but at the same time, save face.
Yeah. You ain't apologize. You have apologized. You talking about we both ain't no both of us nothing. How I'm wrong and I'm already in there when you get there. See that kind of stuff. Like you said earlier in the show, some people can't accept responsibility. You can't come and say, hey man, I was dead wrong. I was wrong about that. I apologize.
You know, it's one thing about Jesus. That's the transformation. You know, the Bible say be transformed by the renewing of your mind.
That's right.
You know, the initial instincts, because you've been Cisro, you've been SKREET Life for 50 years at the time. So your natural instincts is, you know, you tried to hold it back, but this joker, you know what I'm saying? So it flared up.
Right.
But one thing about Jesus, that small still voice to speak to you. If you could just separate yourself from it.
That's right. The Holy Spirit that's in you.
Now you can rationalize and say, now you got another person might not have no Jesus. Your buddy who came from next door, ready to go all in.
See, he's stupid. He's stupid too. If I'd have went back in there and said that's him in there, he'd have stumped him in there. Right now, and he don't even belong in the dorm. He was over there, don't even belong in the dorm. He in another unit.
And that's what Christ will do for you too. Even though they may not be doing it, they may not walk by it, but you're their example. You know how much they watch? And a lot of times at night, they get up under them covers when everybody go to sleep.
That's right.
And they'll read the Bible. They'll read it. And then what they read, they'll look and see if Cisro doing it. And when you doing it and when you walking the way you supposed to walk, you make them believe. You understand what I'm saying?
And see, you have to be a good example for people. That's why you can't do certain things. You know, I had to learn how to control my temper, man, through that though. I let a lot of things go that I wouldn't have let go when I was Cisro. See, I had to bury Cisro and Al had to resurrect. That's what everybody called me that Al by my first name. Called me Al for short. But because if you're going to keep following that old pattern, you're going to stay in prison or be in the cemetery. Because you can get killed too, even though you get mad. You might be in the right about the situation, but you still get killed.
I remember it's this guy. I don't put my transfer in. I'm up there in the panhandle, you know, you know how hard it is to get from down there.
Right.
You know, I'm on the list 3 years before I leave.
Right.
You on the list 3 years. And then one DR cancel it. And, you know, they writing DRs for walking on the line, all kind of old crazy stuff. So we out there playing handball and I got my transfer in. You know, you get your transfer. You got people boy, I got my transfer, got approved, boy. You know, you have it. But over time, this joker bitter. You know what I'm saying? They haters. They on your team, but they haters. They bitter. And so we out there playing handball. You know, I'm pretty good. 10 behind up, 3-5-2 style. You know what I'm saying? And jokers just they taking it places that it should. You think, what the word? So he kind of walk up on me, and I want to, you know what I mean? You ain't got a chance. You know what I'm saying? But I'm trying to hold back. But he don't even, I could, you know what I mean? I want to just take all you too slow. You ain't got no foot speed. See, people don't understand. You got to be an athlete to fight. You can't throw a punch right if you ain't your feet work ain't right. That's why you can't be a great boxer without great footwork. You understand what I'm saying? So
you need good footwork in all sports.
In all
basketball,
sports.
Everything. Football, everything. You need good footwork. That's almost mandatory. You got to be able to have that.
Your footwork ain't right. Everything.
Soccer, everything.
And so he whispered to me when he see the switch flipping. He say to me, "I ain't the one got no transfer." See what I'm saying? That spirit in him want to take my transfer. You know what I'm saying? Stop me. But like you say, I had a greater purpose. My purpose was getting home to my family. I'm transferring to Marion.
Right.
I got 21 years. I'm transferring to Marion. You feel what I'm saying? So, and I was able to go to Marion. You know what I'm saying? I spent 7 years at Marion. You know what I mean? And it's just to show you, man. And I remember sitting out with my mom, and I was like, you know what I mean? I took some things. I let some things go. And she kind of looked at me. I was like, no, Mom, not that kind of stuff. You know what I mean? She kind of looked, you know. But it's things, the jokers needed their jaw broke. You know what I mean? You could set an example. But, you know, one thing I remember when I first got in jail, I was talking to Cuz, and Cuz say, one thing about it, real dogs run the yard. You know what I'm saying? Real dogs run the yard. And me, you know, prison, the biggest thing is respect. Even in street life, respect. I ain't never been robbed. I ain't never been stabbed in prison, all this stuff because respect. Now, a lot of people, they didn't like me. Like KP will tell you, KP tell me all the time, man, cowardice. He made up a word called cowardice. Nobody tell me how they feel in my face. You know what I mean? Why? Even now, I say, man, I'm broke now. I can't do nothing. KP say, man, they don't know you can't get out that chair. But see, sometimes it's your past life that precedes you.
Right. Your reputation always go ahead of you anyway. You know what I mean? It go ahead of you. That's another thing I think that kept a lot of stuff out of me in the street. A lot of guys probably wanted to come at me, but they didn't know how. Plus, they knew if they did, what the consequences go. It's going to be some consequences. See, they already knew that.
That's why I say earlier, robbers, to me, I ain't never liked the robber. You know what I'm saying? First of all, who are you, man? Go out there and get it, man. Go out there and get it from the muscle. You know what I'm saying? Go get it. You know what I mean? Who are you to take another man? You know what I'm saying? Either you deserve to get what you gonna get. You know what I'm saying? But I don't like that. When we talk about earlier, when you say you get so offended if you get robbed, but then you robbing. But that's a horrible enough situation.
But see, I don't get so much offended when I get robbed.
But you just gonna do what they ain't gonna do.
I'm gonna do what they when I was doing it, I'm doing it because I got a habit. You know what I'm saying? I was young then, though. I was young when I was doing it. I was 16, 17 years old when I was robbing. But I was young. I was robbing.
So when you looked at, so let's say you the OG, you 30, 40 years old now in the game, been doing it. You know, you ain't the habit no more. Now you the money maker. And when you see a kid, you don't look and be like, man, I remember when that was me, man.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I do.
And you don't spam?
Yeah, I do that there. But see, I'm hoping you don't come do it to me. Cause see, it just
you got to pay.
But see, I'm locked in now. I'm locked in. Cause the game done shaped me like that. The game done shaped me like that, Peter. The game done shaped me like that.
See, when that man asked me,
the game hardens you, man. It hardens you. I come in the game 13 years old. I'm a little old baby.
And see, I understand because I'm a firm believer in you can't lie to yourself.
Right.
And when the man asked me that, as I think about this every day, that question comes to my mind. And it's almost like you tell yourself things. Okay, you know you in the game. So you say to yourself, but when these jokers rob me and don't kill me, I'm gonna kill him.
That's the game.
Or if a joker sell me this sell, they send one of them women at me, women whatever, I'm gonna get both of them. See what I'm saying? So these are the things that I tell myself. So, and I tell myself so much until that's the bottom line. So when it happens, it's straight robot. It's no question.
See, when it happened here, I ain't got to think about what I'm gonna do, cause I already know what I'm gonna do if certain things happen. Ain't no think about it.
Been made up. So what you think about situations where? Cause there was some situations here where, you know the game. They'll sick a woman on you,
right?
You know what I mean? They'll sick a bad one on you. She go hunt you to sleep, whatever. Get up, open the door, let them in. They rob you, pistol whip, you take all your stuff or whatever. Okay, so. But the situation, we always go get the man and the woman go scot-free.
Right. See, I ain't gonna do that.
I think but she got to get it too.
She gonna get it. I'm digging 2 holes. I'm gonna dig 2 holes. One for her, one for him. And she ain't getting away.
So if you ain't had but one hole to dig, which one it'll be?
Put both of them in there. Put both of them in there on top of each other. They got to go.
Zero understanding. And see,
ain't nothing to talk about.
What do you think about? I looked at some things where they have men finding out that 10 years later, 12 years later, this man married. His job, he need to take a DNA for insurance purposes. 15 years old, that's his son, named after him. He go to the mom, the child ain't his.
That happen all the time.
You know what I'm saying? And then the mom have no remorse, no nothing. He is yours. You've been taking care of him all this time. You know what I'm saying? That's
man, women's something else, man. But see, again, you have to be done got to the point where you can walk away from that without doing something stupid. You see what I'm saying?
But do you understand his mental state at that time?
Yeah.
And when you see his mental state, the man's so hurt. The man's so hurt, and she's so, I don't care.
Don't care.
The man saying, get out, you gotta go. You and your, I ain't going nowhere. Da 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 da. I mean, it's it's bad, man. I mean, this wasn't no skit. This was for real.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? The man's so hurt is that she don't understand that. Don't you know that this man could pop your neck right now?
Listen, man. Listen. Remember I told you I was in that arguing with this nutcake back in the microwave room? My buddy came over there and said, where he at? He got a brother. Been in prison since 1980. This is 45th year. Stayed on death row from 80 to 99. Mm-hmm. He walked in on his wife and a nigga in their bed. But he had already told her when he catch her wrong, because he already had idea she was cheating on him. So he left one morning, double back round, and came there and walked in the house and caught him in the bed. And he left both of them in there. They still asleep.
Hey, and he sit up in there every day, don't regret nothing.
He stayed on death row 19 years. He came in population in 1999 and went in 1980. He's still in there. He's 74 years old now. He's 2 years older than me and Bobby.
And when you speak with him, do he ever say like he regret it?
I haven't talked to Schoolboy. I haven't talked to him since he been in there, but I talked to Bobby. Bobby go see him sometime. Bobby locked back up. Now he done violated. He back in there. But Bobby used to tell me, said that he gave his life to Christ. And he really, he had the mind made up when he walked in there because he knows she was doing it.
Now see,
but see, he walked in there and snapped. Now, my point is, I got an uncle called his wife with another guy. He flew from somewhere to Alabama and caught them together, had his gun. But when he got there, he had second thoughts about it. And he turned around and went back home. That's the point I was trying to make. Some people don't react. They respond differently. Some people think Don't let the emotion. See, you can't let your emotions get ahead of your intellect, because if you do, you're going to do something stupid.
See, if you...
You understand what I'm saying?
I always used to say...
You understand what I'm saying, Pete?
Yes, because if you hear it, you see it, and they don't see you, you leave and just get yourself in order. Because she going to win all the battles. You understand what I'm saying? And see, when people hurting people hurt people.
That's right.
You know, men are physically stronger than women, so when we get angry, we aggressive. We want to, we want to take our physicality, whether it's man, woman, dog, cat. Women can't beat us physically, so they verbalize us with their mouth. See, it's different types of abuse. You know what I mean? You see, it's some weak men in this world. Let that woman straight dominate them. It's so pitiful.
You talking about you hate robbers. I hate that. Well, I seen a lady in Port St. Lucie. I got a niece there that we was out there fishing one Saturday morning. We was out in there getting some bait out of Walmart. And I'm coming down the aisle. Now the guy got the buggy in his hand. Old man or her husband, whoever he was. He got his back to a lady coming up behind him. He standing there with the buggy and she put the stuff in the buggy. The lady coming up behind him, he don't see her. Get out the way. And the way she said it, talk to him like he's a little old boy. The man don't know nobody behind him. He ain't got no eyes in the back of his head. And he just sat there like a little old puppy dog, ain't said a word. I'd have slapped her 9 rolls down up under that counter if she'd have hollered at me like that though. I hate that.
To me, ain't nothing, to me...
You ain't gonna talk to me like that.
I always make the statement, ain't nothing worse than how our era, we raised, homosexuality, all these things, but boy, a weak man, it's...
And then after I got in the store, I thought about it, I said, she should have kicked him in the butt. He sat there and talk to him like that, and don't even say nothing.
Statistics show that women are more abusive than men.
Yeah, verbally anyway.
Yeah, and physically.
Yeah, some of the women jump on them men.
Yeah, because they'll sit there and take it. They don't understand. And see, that's where the disconnect come in. Because to me, a woman can't love a man she don't respect.
That's right.
And she can't respect you talking to you like that.
That's right. You can't love you.
I remember being in prison. And I got married in prison. I remember, certain things going on, certain conversations. I said, hey, who you think you talking to?
Yeah,
you know what I mean? I'm in prison. I ain't finna take it because I'm a man first. I told her, I said, listen, I ain't never calling home no more. Bye. And hung up that doggone phone because you ain't finna talk to me crazy. I wouldn't care where I'm at.
Boy, my wife was saying something one day. And I turned around, and boy, she must have seen, she took off in that room. I would come back there. I said, man.
Yeah.
See, and then, I have to be careful, because when I get angry, I get stupid. If I let my emotions jump up in front of my intellect, and you don't hurry up, and somebody don't hurry up and stop it, then I'm looking for something to pick up, and I'm going to knock you upside the head with it. And if you fall, I'm going to put the 11s on you.
Yeah.
That's my MO. That's my mode of operation. I'm going to stomp you till blood come out your head. That's why I don't like to get upset, because I know me.
See, I was talking to someone the other day, and I was letting them understand that consequences. Now, they showed a video where the guy was somewhere. It was like a little park or something. It was a bunch of cars and everything. And the women was like talking junk to the man. Like, got her finger all in his face. So the women basically, while she doing this to another woman, went in the man's pockets. Yeah, like, man, give me this junk. Taking it, because there's no consequences. You got men walking around here where no matter what they do, you can't punish them. These women basically went in this man's pocket and they take his stuff. And so she fired on the man. Because when he's talking to one, she got her finger in his face or whatever. So while he's talking to one, the other one going in his pocket. So when he tried to stop her from going in his pocket, the woman in front of him swung and hit him in the face. So he took off on him. Bum, 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 bum. He don't hit her. cleaned a couple times. She knocked out, standing up, leaning against the car. Then all the other men come over. Come on, man, that's a woman, man. But them men sat there and watched this woman go in this man's pocket.
And swing on him.
And swing. See,
they'd have been next. When they come over there and say something to me, he'd have been next.
See, the point is accountability. Nobody wants to hold them accountable. Just because no one should hit me.
Wait.
I shouldn't hit you. You shouldn't hit me.
Well, ain't no use to worry about that with me. I ain't gonna have that problem. When you hit me, right back on that ground, I'm gonna go right upside your head. Instinctively. Don't even, boy, little girl. I remember a 9-year-old boy told me to kiss his ass in front of the park. Their house was right there, the park right here, right in front of their house. Kiss my bow. I guess he was finna say ass. I ain't hear that part come out. I slapped that back in his mouth. I slapped him right. I left my handprint right upside his head. I said, now go get your daddy and tell him where he come. I'm going to slap him side here for not teaching you better. I ain't heard no more about that. Tell me, I did it before I even know it. My hand just jumped up and slapped me right upside the goddamn head. See, my temperament like that. That's why I don't like to get mad.
And see, that's why I show respect, because I'm a demand respect. I remember, in prison, them women officers will get you killed. If a woman officer call and say whatever, when they come, zero understanding. They're going to tell you behind them. They don't want to hear nothing.
Yeah.
You can reason with them and you can during there get into a scuffle with a male officer and be better off than that woman calling on you. And so the woman say to me, she kind of say something different. I'm like, hey. I said, we don't talk to each other like that now, ma'am. Instead of saying, ma'am, she like, what you say? I said, ma'am, I respect you. You respect me now. Come on, we don't talk to each other like that. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't. It's hard for me to allow, anybody really. But you know what I mean? It's like, don't you know that that's a man?
Yeah.
See, when you were saying about you get stupid. See, people think, let's say someone slapped you or someone wronged you, and you go above and beyond, still, but well, he went too far. It ain't no too far. You don't know what this person to do. You understand what I'm saying? You don't know that, so you should mind your mouth and stay in your lane, man.
Respect people, man. You ain't got to worry about that. You don't talk to people in a kind of way. You don't even supposed to talk to a kid in a kind of way, man. You don't talk to a kid in a kind of way because they're a human being. They got feelings. You don't talk to them in a kind of way. I tell them, see, listen, man. When you turn around, women have a habit of turning. Get on that. I say, hold up. Sometimes I have to tell my wife about my grandson. He ain't my biological grandson. It's her daughter's son. But still, he called me granddaddy, love me to death. But sometimes I say, hold up. I say, you don't holler at him like that.
Yeah.
You could say, baby, take that over there and do that. Don't that sound better?
And he gonna do it.
Come on, you ain't got to scream and holler at him. Come on.
I got a sports show. Me and
Learn how to
Pep,
talk to people, man.
me, Pep, and KP got a sports show. And one of the Vanguard coaches, he a state trooper. And, if you don't vote for Vanguard, you's a hater. First of all, I didn't go to Vanguard.
Right.
I went to Forest High School, so I could want Vanguard to lose every week if I choose to.
Right.
You understand? That's my prerogative.
Right.
But I don't hate them. I want them to win. But what I do is tell the truth.
Right.
About what I see.
Right.
So, but this dude ain't from here. He from Cisro County, young.
White dude.
Black dude.
Young.
And he a police. So when you're a police, you feel like ain't no consequences to you.
Right.
But see, you ain't on duty. You getting online typing in stuff like, oh, you sucking forest and put the little cucumber thing like a ding-a-ling thing.
What?
And it don't be a little stuff, but and my platform is, I'm talk love, communication, whatever. Man, I stopped that thing, looked at that camera, I said, nigga, it's certain things we don't play.
Right.
Real men don't play in certain ways.
Yeah, man.
You know what I'm saying? But
about
see,
that.
He don't understand, bro. First of all, you don't know me.
That's right.
You need to use your police power and go run a check, bro. You understand what I'm saying? You need to mind. Certain men don't play in certain ways, and plus, this for kids. You shouldn't even be out there teaching and coaching these kids saying stuff like that.
That's right.
We talking about kids, and we talking about
You don't need to be no coach.
But you know, police feel privileged.
Right.
You know,
They feel like they're above the law.
Ain't no consequences to
They're
him.
above the law.
You understand what I'm saying? So I had to tell him. I kind of went in a little bit. You know what I mean, bro? You don't even. You know what I mean? Who the hell is you, man? Who is you? Man, you know what I'm saying? You know, you don't know real, man. Man, you out there on that football field. You ain't in no uniform, man. Go out there and wide out. You know what I'm saying? It's consequences. See, you thinking, well, you know, people just...
You out there standing there. Ain't nobody about you know police, you know, dispatch, walk right out there on that field with my bat and knock you right upside your head during the game. While the game going on.
It's consequences to your actions. You understand what I'm saying? But you know, thank the Lord. You know, people change and everything, but it's just a situation where you have to understand there's consequences to your actions. Like that woman hit that man, not throwing. Well, he's a man. He a real man wouldn't hit a woman. And that man had her sleep, leaning against the car. She was asleep, standing up, sleep.
And when she woke up, put her right back to sleep. Hit me. Soon as you get up, put your right back to sleep.
Street life.
Street life.
So tell my audience, what can they expect from this book?
You can expect a lot of insight about street life, the parallelism between living a abundant life, living for Christ, and the street life when you're living for Satan. Because that's what you're living for when you're in the street life. Because it's, like you said, it's do or die. I thought that was a great analogy right there. I thought it was a great expression. Because that's what street life is, do or die. And you living on the edge every day, you know, and you got so much stuff to fight against, so much stuff gonna come up against you every day, especially when you're successful in the street life, especially when you're a top dog, when you on top. You know what I mean? Because people gonna come at you all kind of ways. Dudes gonna try you. See, dudes gonna try you in the game if they know you're a killer.
See, I had a saying. I used to do music. I had a song called Hustler. And I say, every servant out here got a dream of one day being a king. Every servant that's under you, everyone you looking out for, he want to be you.
That's right.
You know what I mean? John Gotti got Capone. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
In order for me to be the top dog, you got to fall.
That's right. That's right.
Whether he put the police on you or knock you off himself.
That's how Gotti got on top. He killed Castellano.
Yeah.
Had him killed. He had the boss killed so he could be the boss.
Yeah.
That's how it is. But that's the game.
That's the game.
That's the game. And see, that's my whole point in this book. I preach that through the book. You got to get the book to really get all of the details and all of the things out the book. You got to get the book.
So how can we get the book? When you plan on the book coming out? How can you get it? Who published the book? Give my audience the details.
Down Top is gonna be publishing the book. The book gonna be out in about 2 weeks. It's gonna be out just before Christmas. Mm-hmm. You can get the book on Amazon. You can get the book Barnes and Noble, ebook. The paperback book is gonna be $9.99. The hardback is gonna be $14.99, and the ebook gonna be $3.59. So the book is gonna be available. It's gonna be reasonable price, a very good price. I think a very good price for the content that's in the book. The book go into detail about a lot of different things in my life, my young years coming up, my prison life, my life in the streets, which was over a long period of time too. I was in the streets a long time. And when I came on Keller, really, my life took on another turn. When I got here, I really became successful in the game. That's when the crack exploded here. I got into that, and I made a lot of money, lots of money. I helped a lot of people. I did a lot of good things, even though I was in the game. I still did a lot of things. And I think when I looked at it at the end of the story, at the end of my story, I looked at it that, you know, God looked at my heart a long time ago. He knew I had a giving heart, even though I was in the game, even though I was in the black market. And God looks at the heart. He knew he could use me in his kingdom. And I think that's why God been protecting me all these years, kept me safe in prison. I never got a scratch on me in prison in 25 years, not a scratch. I was always, I thank God covered me, and He had me covered in there and protected me in there through all them different times in there, all them different tough prisons I've been in, state, fed, been through it all. Just in that life, like you asked me, do I regret? Even in life, I don't regret that because that's what I chose to do.
And the Bible say that we overcome by the blood of the Lamb and the power of our testimony. So if you never went through these things, this book wouldn't be possible.
That's right.
And also, it's the other young men that's going through the same thing. And I think we need to get this book out in the prison system so they can read this thing and see how, they realize that, hey, I laid on the same bump like you. And I made a decision. I made a choice to help me to become the man that I am today.
And I think that's what I would tell you. That's where I want to get the book at. And I know how to do it. So I think I want to get that book in the prisons, federal and state, where guys will have a chance to read that book in there, especially the prisons where they got the young guys at, because like I said, the game is a dead-end street. Even though I was in it, I loved it. I made a lot of money in it, but at the end, it's a dead-end street. And I think about it all the time. All that money I made, where is it now? The Bible says the gain, ill-gotten gains in the beginning will not be blessed in the end thereof. If you don't get that money the right way, it ain't gonna last. It ain't gonna last. You hold half pocket in there. Your pockets have holes in it. Disappear.
Yeah.
It disappear. Yeah. And he who loves money is proverb. I want to leave this with the audience. He who loves money will not be satisfied with more. You'll never have enough.
That's right, ladies and gentlemen. Those are the powerful words by the one and only, the living legend, Cisro Albert Hampton, ladies and gentlemen. And I, William Robinson, is your host of TLC Talk Love and Communication, ladies and gentlemen. This has been a very special episode. I want y'all to jump out there on this book, man. This book will be out very soon, within 2 weeks, man. Christmas presents, man. Hey, tell it like it is, man. Straight from the muscle, man. A lot of times you don't get stories like this here, straight from the muscle. He giving it to you uncut, blood raw. You know what I'm saying? This book published by one of the great men in this community, Dr. Darryl Talbot, V1. You know what I'm saying? So, hey, we're going to support these men. We're going to jump out. We're going to read these books, man. It's very, very affordable. $10, $14, $3.50, man. That's a Whopper meal. Y'all can tune in to Cisro, man. Remember, nobody told you they love you that William Robinson love you. You can donate to this channel at Cash App. Anybody love you with a U. PayPal, Robinson74Williams, gmail.com. Zelle 352-209-3306. And remember, nobody told you they love you today. William Robinson love you. We out.